Hello guys, welcome to another tutorial, and in this tutorial we will see how you can use Visual Studio Code to debug a Go language application, and in this case it's a web application. And as an example I will use a KN project. You can find more details in description. And basically what we have is very simple Go source code, basically with multiple files. And in terms of structure, I have this CMD with flashcode, which is our entry point, and when you run this file, you have running HTTP server. And also I have a little bit like a structure, which is like in internal you have application details, and you have some database connection. And to execute this application, like one difference is you need to specify a port that where you want this application running as an environment variable. So if I run without this flash port, there will be no port. So I need to specify this port number. So let me return this flash. But when you run with this environment variable, you see that we have running application. And now task is to use a Visual Studio Code to have the same running application in a debug mode. So let me first show how it works, and then we will dive into details. So in Visual Studio you have this menu which is saying run and also debug. I have one configuration with a web server name, and when I click this one, I need to make sure that this port is not busy, so I can use the same port. I have already one entry point. For now I will just skip and then go back to my running application, refresh the page. And since I have another breakpoint, I will get to this entry point. Let me remove this breakpoint for a second. And we can see that it's now running. And also, if I want to, for example, debug at some point, so in my configuration, in my structure, I have this flash.co as an entry point, but I also have this up.co with my routes. And then if I want to stop this execution at this point, I can click on this part, and this will add another breakpoint. And then I can go to the same application, refresh, and I see that I am at this entry breakpoint. And then if I move to the run menu, I can see that I see all these environment local variables. And if I had global, I have one gz pool global variable. So I can see all of them, and I also can go through the source code with F10. It's a go over, meaning that it will not die. For example, in this case, if I click step over, it will jump to another statement. But if I want to see this function, write function, I can click this one, which is step into, and see what's happening in this function, which is also part of my application. So where I do gzipping. So let me, so now I am in internal function. I go through it with this one, step over. And once it's done, I should return back. So which is the case, you can see. And if from now on I want to just continue the application, I can click continue or F5. And then it will go back to the execution state. Another details for this debugging, so you can set up multiple configuration. For example, now, as I said, I have on the web server. You can click add configuration, and for example, let's say I want to have another Go file, and by having this, you can set up another configuration. And for example, you say that in our case, it will be very simple. I say that now I want to have it on, I don't know, 9090, for example. And I have this two configurations here. Usually, you can set up these multiple configurations for multiple entry points. And also, you can see that for my new configuration, I have file as a variable. So which means that if I want to debug this one, I can run it here, and it should pick up this file as an entry point, but I don't have any entry point on this file, so we will not see any result. But if I go to the flash, which is my main entry point, and run with this configuration, it should work. Let's see. yeah, since I have entry breakpoint, it will stop here, but let me continue. And we can also see terminal. Now you can see that application start at port 9090. So this is very simple configuration on how you can set up and run debugger with Visual Studio Code. There are like much more options. For example, let me show one a bit advanced example. So let's say I want to have the same breakpoint. Let's go back to our running application. Now it's not running on 8080, it's running on 9090. So since I am on a root, it will go to the index route. This is my application-based configuration, you can see here. And what I want to do, I want to see, for example, how cache works. Let's say step over, and now my cache is empty. So let's go through these details. And as you can see, you can, when you have a, for example, iteration, it will go one by one through all iteration. In this case, what I usually do, you can put another breakpoint and just run execute. So it will go through all these iteration steps and run to this point. So let's go one more step. And what I also like that if you hover here, so you will see all like value of this variable, which you can also navigate with this panel. So if I want to see details of this, I can click and navigate through my variables. Also, another examples that I use a lot, it's adding your custom like vouchers. For example, I want to see first item of this list. So each time when I'm at this point, it will show me this variable. If it's available, if it's not available, it will not see this variable. Also, you can see at which point of the stack you are right now. So you can see, for example, now we are on top. So if I navigate, so my stack, call stack also changes based on the place where I am. So yeah, it's very useful. But one of the cases where you need this debugger is when you have something wrong in your application and you are not sure where it's happening. So you can put a breakpoint at the entrance of your application and basically go through your source code and get closer to the point where an error happening. So in this case, it's my starting point. I can see what's happening, how all these variables are set up, and etc. etc. And also, since we always start and then stop application, we don't see variables, intermediate variables. For example, let me continue. So let me continue for this state. So now I have this entry point executed once. When I execute again, let me see. We should have a cache if it works properly. Let's say, yeah. Now since I am running second time, my cache is not empty. So since debugger is like a normal, like usual running application, if you have web server, for example, and you run the same router again and again, and if you have some intermediate variables, you can access them during the debugger. So yeah, that's it for like, it's very introduction level, I know. If you need more details on how you can use this debugger, please let me know in comments. And thank you for watching this video, and see you in another one. Bye bye.